Blake Lalli Coaches Show here with manager Blake Lalli of the Reno Aces. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. Excited to be here.
About halfway through April, what are your first impressions on the season so far, and in what ways have these guys met your expectations?
Well, number one, it's mid-April, so it's early. So I try, even myself, to not put a whole lot into necessarily results of playing, but how they're going about their business. Where they've met my expectations is their willingness to get better every day. I mean, guys are working really, really hard, and I think it's going to show up. I mean, some positives. The offense has been really good so far. Guys are having good at bats. We're scoring some runs. I said at the beginning of the year I was really excited about the pitching staff, and I still am. We've had some control issues and a lot of walks and stuff out of the bullpen, but once again, the work that the guys are putting in, I think you're going to see that all turn around. There's some big stuff coming out of that bullpen, and once we figure out how to hone it in, I think we're going to be in really good shape.
We talked about it on the broadcast a ton, but the stuff is there, and then offensively, obviously, I mean, leading the PCL in batting average too.
Yeah.
You've coached at the single A level. I would think there's something special about each level, something different about each level. The triple A level, what do you think is the most special thing about this level?
Every level you move up, the game gets faster. The better players move on. You see good baseball, and I think we started the year with 17 guys on this roster have appeared in the major leagues or something.
Mm-hmm.
Could be off there, but I think it was something like that. So we're dealing with major league caliber players, and I think what's kind of cool is you'll run into at this level the 34-year-old, 35-year-old that is still competing at a high level and can go help our major league team, to the 22-year-old, 23-year-old that's on his way out. Probably the coolest thing is the big mix you have mm-hmm. that meets at kind of a level. Yeah,
and the interesting thing too is it's single A. I think it's all about development.
Yes.
And how you can develop these guys.
Yeah.
How much is it in triple A about development versus anything else?
I mean, we never stop developing. That being said, I would say there's a lot of more of a fine-tuning aspect of if one of these guys gets the call after the game tonight to go play for the Diamondbacks, we're trying to fine-tune what's going to make them the best possible player to go help us win some major league games and to help their career. And when we help them and they're able to produce for the Arizona Diamondbacks, we're in a really good spot. So I think we never stop development. I mean, the guys are here super early and they never stop working in the cage, and the pitchers are going to head out there soon, and they never stop working. I think to play in the major leagues, you can never stop getting better. If you take a day where you don't try and get better, then someone's going to pass you up.
What's one piece of advice you wish you would have known in your playing days that you give to these guys?
Ooh,
putting you on the spot here.
No, I mean it's a good question, because things. It's probably not the best answer, but once you get into coaching, there are a lot of things that when you're a player you don't understand. You think you understand, but you don't understand. And I think there's moments as players and coaches that, for instance, as a player, I think maybe when you're young and you're in A-ball, a coach tells you something and it doesn't resonate until 10 years later. And you're like, that's why he was talking, and that's it. And I think our biggest thing is we talk to these guys day in and day out, and the sooner that they can understand that we're here for their career, and that the information we give them is based off experience and knowledge, and I think I just wish I would have understood some of that earlier.
Coachability, very important.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very important. Yeah.
Let's take it back to your playing days. You made your MLB debut in Wrigley. I think it was mid-May of 2012. I know.
Yes.
What was that experience like? I mean, that must have been awesome.
Yeah, you know what, you said it, and I kind of got chills because you never forget those moments, right?
Yeah.
Like they're moments that you work, pretty much your entire life for, and something I had my eyes set on, and I got the call in the morning. I was in Des Moines, Iowa, and hopped on a flight. No more than an hour later, it was a rush to the airport, and they were, playing a day game.
White Sox,
and got to the ballpark, and it was on. Put my uniform on, went to the dugout. First thing that happened was Kerry Wood came in and punched a guy out, and then retired, and the whole city was on their feet for like 30 minutes, and I was just standing on the line clapping, and I was like, man, I'm in the big leagues, but like it was just standing there, but it was great. Ended up catching later that game.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had an at bat too.
Yeah.
What's that like being announced at Wrigley Field? That first time, that feeling, emotion, fans, and I assume it was packed mid-May. What's that emotion like? What's that feeling like?
That first at bat, I don't think you hear anything. I think. I think you're. If there's one thing I probably wish I would have done is probably take that in a little bit more. And but I got thrown into the game late. There was an injury, so I caught the ninth, and then I let off the bottom half. And I think it was just go go go. I remember after that game, going out to eat. It was on the hotel there in Michigan Avenue, and going out to eat, and I went to Best Buy and got a phone charger because my phone was like dead. And
2012. What kind of phone did you have? Was that?
Oh, I had an iPhone, but
I guess that's
it was in the morning. I flew. Yeah. It was about to die. I wasn't dead, but I had to go. I basically didn't have time to make calls on my way there.
Right.
I got there so quick and all that it was after the game where I called my buddies and stuff like that and told them hey, I made my major league debut. So I reflected a lot on what happened that day after the game.
Who's the best pitcher you've ever caught? Who'd you catch in that game?
I caught James Russell.
Okay.
Yeah, left-handed reliever. I think he started some. We played together in the minor leagues, and he came in the ninth, and so it was someone I was familiar with. Mm-hmm. So I caught James Russell in the ninth, left-hander. I was fortunate enough to play the game for a decently long time. So there's a ton of arms that it all depends. At the beginning, you have some veteran guys that taught me a lot. Like catching Kerry Wood in spring training and stuff like that, and guys like that is special. I remember laying on my bed at my house after school when I was a kid, and you had WGN, and I remember his strikeout game is
20 strikeouts.
20 strikeouts versus the Astros, I think.
Oof.
Was it?
We'll get a clip of it here.
I could be wrong. I think it was the Astros, but I remember laying on the bed watching that, and then you're catching this guy. So, and then all the way towards the end of my career, when I finished with Atlanta, like all the good young arms that they have in the big leagues right now, I was fortunate enough to catch, and I think it's hard to pinpoint one. So,
this season, shift back to managing. This season, what are your main goals for 2023?
My main goals are to make everyone around me better, and I want them to make me better. I want to make these players to where they feel at the end of this year that they took a step forward towards whatever their goal is. I know all of our goals is to making the Arizona Diamondbacks better, and I want that for my staff. I want the coaching staff to grow. I want them to make me better. I want them to push me, and they do such a good job of pushing the players to be better. And I really think like if we do that, we have so much talent in that clubhouse right now, and we know this level things can change. It's early. I think you're gonna see some really good things out of this team.
Can I answer my question? Last one for me. What excites you most about this group?
Just what they're capable of. Mm-hmm. Really what they're capable of. the offense it's truly an offense that's capable of scoring like 10 runs a night.
Yeah, we saw it opening weekend.
Yeah, they really are. When I write the lineup, I mean, I think about, I was a catcher, and I think about catching against this team, and you look down at the bottom of the lineup, and there's no breaks. Mm-hmm. And I think that's exciting. Obviously, I know if we do get behind, we're always in striking distance. Yep. I'm extremely excited to continue to see the growth of, Tommy Henry and Brandon Pfaadt and Blake Walson's first crack at this level, and Slade Ciccone. Like, these guys, they have a chance to be a part of the future for the Diamondbacks for a long time, and to witness it here and to see the way they go about things, it's fun for me.
That pitching staff, and this is my last question, pitching staff is so special, right? So much talent there. What impresses you the most about what they do off the field and how they carry themselves?
What impresses me most, and I heard it from people that have had them in the past, and I have experience with these guys, but I've never actually managed any of them. We've known each other, but I've heard from a bunch that group, and there's two in the big leagues, yep, and there's a couple in Amarillo, but that group of arms, they challenge each other every single day while pushing each other and rooting for each other.
So important.
It's so important. They, someone has a good start tonight, like that next guy's trying to outdo him, but they're all pulling for him to outdo it. It's really a core group of arms that can make a difference in the major leagues, and it's fun to see. Mm-hmm. It's fun to see them, out to dinner together and working out together and watching each other's bullpens here. They're going to go out at 2:00, and I guarantee you they're watching each other's bullpens, and they're trying to help each other and push each other. So that's pretty special when you run across players like that.
Special team here in Reno. There you go. That's Blake Lalli for your Coach's Show.